Hello, greetings from Greece and Metalradio.gr. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me, as always. Yeah.
Well, Evergrey is a beloved band in Greece and one of my personal favorites. I've been following you since the very beginning, since the dark ages.
Yeah, that feels like it. Yeah.
However, you are releasing a new album, A Heartless Portrait, The Orphean Testament. It's going to be out on May 20th. It's pretty soon since your latest release, so I'm guessing inspiration just kept pouring in.
Yeah, I mean, when actually we took a wise decision after, actually the day after Escape of the Phoenix came out, had a meeting with the band and we came to the conclusion that we would probably not be able to play live for a long time, given the pandemic situation. So we just made a quick decision that maybe we should just keep on writing, and that's what we tried to assess quite quickly. So everybody went back to their sort of writing dens and started writing, and then we met up after like 6 weeks already to sort of compile the ideas that we have had. So yeah, we wrote all new stuff, and yeah, as you said, the inspiration kept pouring. And then that's what I've discovered now. It's like the more I write, the more inspired I get, and the more inspired I get, the more material you guys get. So it's been crazy 2 years, crazy 2 years in terms of delivery. I think I released like 2 Evergrey albums, 2 Silent Skies albums, a bunch of computer music, 1 Redemption album is also recorded. So it's like, but it's fantastic, great. Feel grateful to be able to produce and write music.
We're grateful to be receiving it, to be on the other end of receiving it.
Yeah, thanks.
Having listened to A Heartless Portrait, it sounds quite anthemic, sort of like a declaration. And you've used your fans in a couple of songs. It sounds like you're making a statement. Is it my opinion, or is it something that you are coming out with?
I'm gonna be as blunt and say as I think we have made a statement with every song we released since day one. So for me, nothing changed really. For us, it's always about trying to keep it interesting for ourselves and bringing the fans in for these songs, both for Save Us and for Midwinter Calls, was just a way for us to also knock on the door of our fans and say, hey, do you remember us during this pandemic bullshit? And are you still around? Will you still remember us when this is over? And it was also a great way for us to sort of interact with them in that way, where they could, have the people who sing on the Save Us song, all of their names are in the booklet. So it's a great testament for them to also have a great memory from this period of the pandemics, instead of just, misery and lockups and all that stuff.
I see what you mean.
But I mean, it's very glorious sounding in a sense. It's very sort of rebellious and resistance sounding, very much like Hymns for the Broken was for me. That's
very inspirational. I agree. Yeah. I agree. I feel, I don't know if it's only with the Greek fans, but I feel that Evergrey has always been a band that's really bonded with its fans. I mean, I can remember the last show you were in Athens. That's where the t-shirt comes from. I remember that the people were singing along all the lyrics of all the songs, and you keep on bringing new material and people keep on reacting to it, keep on embracing it. I mean, it's a very close relationship.
Yeah, I mean, and it's definitely not something that we take for granted. And that's just the thing with being in Evergrey too. We've never been a huge band, but we've always been on the sort of rising, but very, very slowly for 30 years now. It's but that's the truth. And the great thing about that is that even though we bring in a lot of new fans from like the Hymns for the Broken album up until now, we had a big leap up in terms of streams and popularity and commercial success. Mm-hmm. all of our old fans are still there and liking the new material as well. So it's not like we changed. It's more like the world woke up and sort of understood, or either we changed or you guys changed. Something changed that sort of, aha, now I get it, you know. But I mean, it's and also Greece have had a very special place in our heart since we did our early tours there. We came with Camelot and Crimson Glory. I remember, you know, it's like, and just having singing fans at your concerts, that's what you want. That's what we miss the most about this pandemic, being able to interact with your fans and get that immediate feedback of your songs. It's I can't remember what that feels like anymore. It's very weird when you be doing this for your the whole.
Come to Greece, we'll remind you.
Yeah, I will. We will definitely come back.
The Orphean Testament. The lyrics are dark, as always. They're personal. Everyone can relate to it. The music is guitar driven. However, you have a beast behind the drum kit. You have the keys. It's all creating this unique Evergrey atmosphere. Tell me about what's new. What are we listening in the new album?
Yeah, that's so difficult for me to dissect and assess in a sense, because also it feels like for me I'm in the same writing period as I was for the Escape of the Phoenix album, which is really the truth. But I mean, the only thing we've done in between is doing music videos, and then we started doing the new album. So, but I don't know what is it. I feel it's. I don't know, to be honest. I don't. I mean, it's. I think it's a strong album. I think it's an album that pretty much hits the same chords as Escape of the Phoenix does for me, but it has some sort of new elements to it when it comes to maybe some more. If I say major key, that would sound weird, but there is some positive energy going on in some of the songs that has not been there before. Um, there's a song called Reawakening, which only the word in sort
I
of
love
brings
that
that
song.
vibe. Yeah, and that's some sort of new approach to, I wouldn't say songwriting, but in terms of harmony, we bring in some new elements. But I mean, it's still a very much that's the thing with Evergrey. It's not one thing, you know. You can put on any of our albums and it's gonna be a lot of diverse influences from this to that, from slow to hard to dark to light, and pretty much like life, right? So
Yeah, I actually felt like you're also revisiting some of your older elements, but in a newer, in a new, under a newer light or
yeah,
of some
okay.
sort. I've heard a lot of stuff that reminded me of older albums, but yet with a different perspective.
Yeah, I mean that might be. I think you're the better judge than me of that, because one, I don't listen to my music after I've done it. I need to move on and do the next thing, and then secondly, I never compare our music either to the stuff that we have done before, because for me it's some somewhat hindering to think in hindsight of things, because I want to be moving on to the next thing. So for me now, when talking about A Heartless Portrait, I'm writing the next album of Evergrey. So it's like my mindset are like I have to step away from that and back into the Heartless Portrait where I've been, you know, for the last year. So, but I love that. It's a luxury and a blessing for me to be able to do that.
Let's talk a bit about your vocals, which is the key element that binds the diversity of Evergrey. You're always finding new vocal lines to follow, and we can hear harshness in the music, and then your voice comes in and it reaches the very softest parts of us. Tell me about it. Tell me about how you built your lines within the songs. How does that work for you?
I well, first of all, I put a lot of work into it. A lot of work. For me, it's like painting a picture, like a oil painting, and with the brightest color, I find that's the voice. The one that you see first on the painting is the voice is what you hear first on an album, most likely. But for me, it's an art for me to be able to try to perfect melody writing. For me, it's about finding the perfect melody that fits the part that I'm singing over as perfect as I can. But the more I do it, of course, I see the progress. At the same time, I see there's so many more notes to write. There's so much more music for me to sort of discover. The more I do, the less I understand that I know about anything. So it's just I'm just very grateful to have discovered music at all, to have that as a part of my life for as long as I've had it now. And as I said, the more I write, the more I realize that there's so much more to discover and perfect. And if you can perfect music, I don't think you can, but it's after all this time, I'm still as eager and as hungry to write better stuff for the next song as I was in 1993 when I wrote the first demo. So
I see.
it's almost 30 years ago. God damn it, it's crazy.
We're thankful for those 30 years.
So am I.
It's a miracle to free yourself from chains. Cause failure's imminent and life can change to something more beautiful, even acceptable. We need to open up our eyes and leave the dark tides coming. We are lost in fragile moments. Falsehood, soulless. We run through this blindfolded.
Do Yannis justice if I weren't to talk about your artwork. He's a close friend. He's a friend I admire, and I feel pretty proud that he works with you guys and feel pretty grateful. Tell me about the artwork,
I
Yannis.
mean, that's the great thing with Janice, and that's the great thing with all of the people that we have come to sort of bring into the team of Evergrey now, because everybody play a great, big, important role. Because for me, at least, I can only speak for myself. Evergrey it's not only the music, it's the lyrics, it's the artwork, it's the videos, it's this whole big apparatus of creativity which allows people like Janice coming in and be the artist. I hope he feels like that too, but I very rarely sort of direct him harshly. I tell him, this is the title I have. Let's discuss what you see. Let's discuss what I have in my head, and then I let him go. And each and every time so far, he's come back with, amazing stuff. So I don't see a reason to sort of micromanage him, or then can you add this there in this picture? Can we have this color on the logo? I don't need to do more because it's amazing.
I see. Tell me about the feedback you've gotten from the first two singles that came out.
Yeah, I mean, as I said before, it's great to be in Evergrey, because right now we're still rising in the popularity, and for these two songs, today you measure songs in streams, right, and plays and stuff like that, and already with first two songs which surpassed any song that we have done ever before. I mean, I know our old fans, for instance, think of In Search of Truth as the opus of Evergrey, and yeah, and I understand that. If you came in at that time listening to Evergrey, that was a awesome album to sort of attach yourself to. But in terms of commerciality, or what brings in, the bread on the table for us, the first song of Escape of the Phoenix has more plays than a whole In Search of Truth album. So it's new times, different times. We're just happy to have the old fans and the new fans, and that the old fans also love the new music. So I don't even know what the question was. I'm babbling, but yeah, I mean, it's just great. I think great being in Evergrey now. It's
Tell me, you're in a new record label. I'm guessing this has to do with all this rising course you're in.
might be. I mean, Escape of the Phoenix was on AFM Records, and we left on the biggest album of our career. So, but I mean, that was not because we were particularly dissatisfied, but more due to the fact that I think in business you need to move on. After we did 4 albums with AFM, people start to get comfortable, including ourselves. And when people are too comfortable, people are not on their toes or being creative or striving to be better, because this works and it did work, but we want more. We're still aiming for world domination. It's like nothing changed for when I was 20 years old up until now. So it's like, yeah.
Yay.
But yeah,
You've got the perfect
said,
soundtrack for world domination. I mean, A Heartless Portrait, the Orphean Testament is exactly what gets the blood pumping and makes you want to conquer the world. And so
yeah, but I must say that also, of course, having these 2 first singles with the response and the reception that they have received so far, of course, that's also a great teamwork from Napalm Records so far. It feels like they have a bigger apparatus around them, if I need to compare. And yeah, they have dedicated people for each and every continent, and it makes it a lot more work for me doing interviews. But yeah, that's what we do.
Tell me about any favorites in the album.
Oh my God, what songs are on the album? I'm gonna check. Hold on. I gotta. I mean, music. Where's the music? What's your favorites?
Well, Call Out the Dark, Reawakening, Ominous, and the title track, of course.
Yeah, I think if I would pick one song, if I had to pick one song that you have to throw all of the other songs away, I would pick Ominous, because it has a very close place in my heart. It's very dear to me, if you can say. But I like all the other choices you made as well. So it's like, I mean, that's just it. Honestly, when we tried to pick videos for this album, we had Call Out the Dark as first. The record label didn't even mention that song. They mentioned 5 other songs before that one. And then we were like, why is this? Should we push for what we think is right, or should we just listen to our new record label and let them decide? Mm-hmm. We were agreeing on Save Us, and then we sort of went with the record label move on Midwinter Calls.
I don't want to mess too much with your schedule, so we're going to close this by saying which are the live dates that you have in promotion of the album. Are you coming to Greece? We have missed you. We want you.
Yeah, I mean, we will schedule Greece for sure. We have this long ass European tour, but that never goes that far to that side of Europe. We have I think we have like 6 weeks on the sort of mainland of Europe now, and and England in October. But I mean, of course, during the pandemics, we have had to move it several times. So logistically, it's been a nightmare. But hopefully, we can get to go now. And then, as soon as we know that everything's working, we're coming to Greece as soon as possible, for sure. I mean, absolutely, always.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for that.